Well, hello my lovely dishers. It is time to dish with Dee. Thank you for clicking on this video and making yourself a priority. I am Denise. We dish everything weight loss, healthy lifestyle related. Today is Saturday, and today was the day I go to my meeting at the WW workshop in Turnersville, New Jersey, and I report back. Now, again, it's just my take on the workshop. You will have your own opinions. You might not agree with me. You don't have to, but this is my vast experience being on Weight Watchers for 6 years. This is how I take their topics. And you should always make things your own. So if that's something you enjoy and you're new here, thank you for subscribing. And if you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, hit that subscribe button. Join our community of waist watching warriors. We just started a challenge called Spring into Summer. Every 2 weeks we change up what we like to work on, because let's face it, you can't do it all at once. So we kind of break it down into little goals. Every 2 weeks we change it up. If you need to work on water, if you need to work on vegetables, you need to work on tracking, you need to work on exercise. Whatever you need to work on for 2 weeks, that's the one thing you focus on. Baby steps yield big results eventually. So how'd your weigh-in go, Dee? It was a holiday. That it was. I will say I did have an affair with a chocolate rabbit. Or 2. Or 3. Actually, I only gained 1 pound. Shockingly, I'm shocked because this girl ate my weight in candy on Sunday only. My food choices were fabulous. My non-food choices, yeah. But it was Easter, and I'm okay with it. I'm okay with eating chocolate on Easter. I haven't touched it since. That's huge. The fact that I only did it for 1 day is a huge non-scale victory. So I'm taking that and running away with it. So, up 1 pound, I'm back at it, and let's see what the meeting topic has to offer us today. I didn't stay for the topic because we had plans for the day, so I only ran and got weighed and left. I probably didn't have to even go. I could have got weighed at home, but, you know, it is what it is. Yeah, traveled 25 minutes to get weighed for 2 seconds and left. That's dedication. So, let's see. I have no idea. How to Eat More Mindfully by Nicole Sparita. Oh, Nicole's been like... Oh, I will show you I did grab a recipe card while I was there. Spring desserts. We have lighter lemon bars and blueberry Meyer lemon sorbet with thyme. I'm not a huge blueberry lover, but if you are, there's a little... I don't think it'll focus on that. There it is, the QR code. The lemon bars really look good. I'm going to show you that. If I took my finger off the lemon bars, and there's the sorbet. 7 to 8 points for the lighter lemon bars. That seems awfully high. But, like I always tell you, WW doesn't use sugar-free. People like to say that they do, but they do not. There's granulated sugar, unsalted butter, eggs. There's nothing weird in this recipe. So when people say I don't lose weight on Weight Watchers because they promote sugar-free and fat-free, they don't. The only fat-free thing is probably the yogurt. Other than that, check it out. So people who say that don't know what they're talking about, because they really don't. I use sugar-free and fat-free, absolutely, but I don't work for Weight Watchers. I work for me. And that's a choice that I make. And you can make the choice that you want. If you don't want to use sugar-free or fat-free, don't. But if you do, go ahead. It's your life, people. Use what you want to use. Don't let anybody tell you not to. You do you, boo. You can get that on a shirt. All right, let's see what Nicole has to say. How to eat more mindfully. Ever eaten something because, well, it was there all the time? The Easter eggs were there. Same, and it's totally normal. It totally is. Next time, pause and ask yourself the 5 S's before you decide what to do. My dad had his own 5 S's. You don't want to know what they are. Try this. Do you want this food because you can see or smell it? Oh, the smells hook you all the time. Smells, and if it looks good. Now, I will tell you, some things look better than they actually taste. And let me tell you, I'm going to give you a big hint of advice. If you bite into something that looked fabulous and it's not, spit it out. Don't swallow. Pro tip from me. I don't do that anymore. I used to be like, I'm like, no. If you're in a party or something, excuse yourself and go to a corner and spit it out. Do not swallow anything that's not point worthy. All right, the second S of the situation you're in. Sometimes you're guilted into eating. Why do people do that? I think it makes them feel a little more superior, saying they make you feel bad about yourself. Yeah, you can't eat because you're a Weight Watcher, so you eat it to spite them. Don't. You just say, I can eat it, I just don't want to. But if you want to, then you should. A little bit anyway. Of how it sounds. You ever see like a description, like a recipe, or just the way somebody describes something? Like, I do that a lot. I'll say it's just unctuous, and it's just, you know, fluffy and velvety and pillowy. And sometimes that's how they interpret it, but you might not. So sometimes descriptions can be misleading because that's how they feel about it. You might not think it's fluffy and velvety and puffy. You think it's special. Well, I think that is a big S because you know what's special. Like, I went to Texas Roadhouse, and I haven't been there since before COVID. So it's been since before 2020. And they had the honey butter, the cinnamon butter with the bread. That's special. I haven't had it. So yeah, I'm going to sit there and tell you I had 2. They're 9 points each. I had 18 points of rolls and 7 points of butter. It was a choice I made. I could have had 1, but you know what I said to myself? I'm not going to have this again for years. We don't get there often, so I had 2. And I sat there and I made the choice. I said, do I really want this? And I went, yes, I do. I had double veg with my dinner. My steak was only 6 points. Double veg with my dinner. So I felt like, you know what? I wanted to spend my points on bread. And that's my prerogative. As your prerogative, you'd be like, I'd rather have a potato. The potato was 9 points. Potato bread. I went with the bread. But again, that's what the glory of the plan is. You're in the driver's seat. You're in the control of that vehicle. You decide where it goes. Let's dive a little deeper. If you answered yes to any of these questions, take the best time to think a little bit more about why and what you're going to do next. The food is right there. It is not a lack of willpower. It's a science. Seeing or smelling a certain food can make you want it more. It's true. And especially if it's something from your childhood. When I would smell our anchovy gravy every Christmas Eve, it brings me right back to being a kid, waking up and smelling that fish sauce. I know it sounds a bit repulsive, but that is the smell of Christmas Eve to me because I've smelled it since I was a baby. If you can, walk away. It might seem obvious, but putting actual physical space between you and the food can lessen the cravings. If you don't smell it anymore, you might not want it as much, but sometimes our mind has a memory and you know what it smelled like. The food is part of the experience. Popcorn at a movie theater or dessert after a fancy meal. When you're used to things going together, the pull can be automatic. I stopped having popcorn at the movie theater when my brother worked there, and they pre-popped it days in advance and put it in trash bags. They just heat it up. Yeah, I don't have popcorn at the movies anymore. Maybe I have snow caps though. Not all the time. Snow caps were my thing, but yeah, no popcorn. But I get when people do because that is a thing. And you know what? You could save points for it. If you really want that popcorn with that movie, that's your treat. It's just popcorn. Granted, it's doused in butter. But do they make it without butter there? So I've never gotten it. I have no idea even how you can get it. Can you get it without butter? I don't know. Let me know in the comments below if you can get it without butter because I have no idea. Pause. I would encourage myself to eat it if this was at home on the couch. I would eat popcorn at home on the couch with a movie. I think just watching a movie is automatic for popcorn. The food is special. A limited edition donut flavor. A childhood favorite you thought was discontinued. Food can seem important for many different reasons. Food holds memories for many different reasons, like the anchovy spaghetti sauce that I'd make every Christmas Eve. Take off the metamorphical gift wrapping, then figure out if you really actually want it, or you just want to relive a memory, or how you might find it again. Sometimes, if we're strong enough, we could have some of it. See, I'm from the school of a little bit, because if I don't have any of it, I'm going to make it bigger than it actually is and taste better than it actually does because I'm sitting there wanting it more. If I just give in and have a piece, but that's easier said than done. But see, I have so many people here that I can take a piece and give it to somebody and then it's gone, so I can't go back because it's not here anymore. But if you live alone, I get that. It's something you just have to decide. You have to decide if you have the points, if you're willing to sacrifice points for that food. It's a choice, and you have to weigh everything out. They want you to stop and think. Is it important enough? Do I have points instead of just diving right in and face first into whatever it is, which we have done. So think about it. And sometimes when you give yourself a step back in thought, you kind of talk, and I say talk out loud. I say this all the time. Let yourself hear what you have to say, and then maybe you could like talk yourself out of it and say, I really didn't want it. I think it was just this memory thing going. The food just sounds good. There's a reason menus can be a little extra when it comes to descriptions. Words like buttery, creamy, and decadent, all signals that intentionally scream, get this, it's delicious. Sometimes they say that, and it's not all that. It's not. But if you've already purchased it, you're going to sit there and not eat it. You could bag it up, take it home, and then put it in the freezer or put it in different little sections. There's somebody, I don't remember her name, but she gets a dessert. And who the heck is it? I remember her saying it. She gets it and she has a little piece of it during the week. So it's not all in one sitting. She just breaks it up. So it breaks down, you know, how many calories and points it is because you're having separate pieces. So it's not quite 20 points. It becomes 6 points. And you can fit in 6 points pretty much for the day. Read it again without any of the adjectives. Decide if that plain old dish sounds good to you. Yeah, so it'll say creamy, buttery mashed potatoes. It's saying mashed potatoes. Mashed potatoes. And can you make mashed potatoes at home? I can. But if you can't and you really want the buttery, creamy mashed potatoes, have some. Don't have them all. Sometimes if it's a dish like that, you could get a to-go container and put it away before you decide to go back for the rest of it. It's basically, you're teaching yourself discipline. You're teaching yourself to speak and hear, do you really want that? We have to reduce the amount of food we eat. Half of our problems, I'm going to speak for myself, half of my problem was portions. I can't eat everything this much. It's way too much. If I have a little bit, then it's fine. But I didn't get there overnight. I didn't get there to saying, I'll have a couple pieces of dessert and pass it on. That did take a while. But I think what made it easier is I did it often. So I didn't feel deprived. When you are living in deprivation, which is diet mentality, no, I'm not having that, don't have that, you can't have that, that makes you want something even more. I'm from the school of lifestyle. So yeah, I might not have lost as fast as somebody else, but I didn't deprive myself either. It's give and take. You have to decide what's more important. Eating the way you want or being an unrealistic, unsustainable weight. You know, I think we ought to follow a plan where you don't get weighed. How would that be for a month? We don't get weighed. You know, we eat correctly. I think we get weighed because it definitely keeps us mindful and it keeps us in control and on track because we can see that number. If we don't see the number, what's going on? Am I losing? Am I maintaining? I hope I'm not gaining. But if you follow a healthy lifestyle and you know you're making, like even this week, I did have a bad day. The rest of the week was absolutely stellar. So I have nothing to feel ashamed about. I had a stellar, I don't feel bad at all. Like I said, when you're used to eating correctly, even one day at the weight I'm at is going to show up. Now, if I was like 100 pounds heavier and I had one bad meal, it probably wouldn't show up because it's just, depending on the weight you are, it's just the way you lose is totally different. Because you absolutely could, there's more leeway when you're a little bit bigger than it is when you're a little bit smaller because there's not that much to give. You know, there's only a little bit of space versus bigger space. But you have to definitely be consistent. And that is what I always talk about. Consistency. Fitting in good food so you're not having that want. If you fit in the foods that you want and desire, you don't have that pull because you've eaten it. You desire something more when you put it up on a shelf and don't have it. I can't eat creamy mashed potatoes because they're not on plan. They might not be, but you can make a nice light mashed potato that might fit into your plan a little bit more. You know, I can't eat bread. You might not be able to eat a high calorie bread, but you can eat a light bread. I eat bread all the time. I mean, I would love to eat more. Who wouldn't? But I feel like I'm having bread. I'm having toast. I don't feel like I'm not having bread. Same thing with mug cakes. I make mug cakes because I want to have cake. I don't ever feel like, oh, I want cake. I have a cheesecake in a mug. I have cheesecake. I never ever have those pulls anymore because I'm fitting food in. I'm finding a way to create them that the taste is pretty good, but the points are perfect. They're right there for me. And like I said, you just have to play around with some ingredients and experiment. Now, I've done most of that for you. You're welcome. I mean, there's dump cakes in a mug, there's cheesecakes in a mug, there's cinnamon rolls in a mug, there's Pop-Tarts in a mug, there's an ice cream cake, there's so many fabulous things. I got the banana bread alone. You're eating banana bread, you're eating oats, you're eating eggs, you're eating yogurt. It's absolute, and yes, sometimes there's a banana in something, but I don't mind it, and I feel it's definitely hits the note that this is talking about. It's hitting that decadent note. So I don't go through the push-pull so much. I mean, yeah, I did go through the bread because that's one thing I don't have is rolls and butter. Yeah. So that was why I went with 2. Had I been able to fit more rolls into my life, I probably wouldn't have even wanted it. But there's a difference. Like, Shish, do you want dessert? No, I didn't need to get dessert. I didn't need it because I have it. The bread, that was, you know, that was a free-for-all. But yeah, there's a difference. You have to sit there and fit it in, work it in, plan it in. I mean, I say this all the time, and you will eventually get there by this listening and listen. That's why I repeat it, because these are such key points that you need to remember that that's what makes life doable. Is fitting it in. You need to have it. How does this, like, you won't be so, yeah, creamy, I have chocolate cake. I have mug cakes all the time. Cakes don't bother me. Cookies, I'm getting there, trying to get master the perfect cookie. I have a couple good ones, but I haven't gotten the perfect crispy chocolate chip yet. So those, yeah, a nice crispy buttery chocolate chip cookie. We're going to get there, though. We are going to get there. No, Rome wasn't built in a day, but cake, cupcakes, I mean, I don't sit there and go, oh, there's a strawberry shortcake in a mug. Between me and Hungry Girl, we got you covered. We do. And I made a chocolate French toast mini bake. That will be on tomorrow's meal prep. There was a cookie parfait that was on the Weight Watchers site. Fabulous. I will say about the cookie parfait, the yogurt I used wasn't quite heavy enough. I was a little bit hungry later. Had I used maybe a Greek non-fat, would have been a little bit heavier. This was like one of those 1.1s. It was delicious, yes, but it just didn't hold me. So it might be a better snack than breakfast, but it was delicious, I will say that. So you will see meal preps tomorrow, some really delicious stuff. You'll see the French toast bake. You'll see my hummus and avocado toast that I mixed, because Dunkin' does avocado and they do hummus toast. So I thought, why not combine them? Humavocado worked for me. It was fabulous. And I put my homegrown sprouts. And if you haven't watched that video, oh my gosh, I will link it in the cards above. They are so stinking easy. And it's this fresh thing. Because you know what they charge you for sprouts in the store? $7 or $8 for a bag this big. You can grow your own for like pennies. Pennies. And it's easy. And it's organic. I'm growing organic. I've talked way too long. I do apologize, but I just reiterate the same things. So that is it. I thank you for watching. If you stayed to the end, let me know. Give this video a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed yet, join our YouTube family. Hit that Dish with D subscribe and that bell notification. Let you know when I go live and when I upload. We go live here Sunday night through Thursday night for our weight loss chit chat. It's just a support group, and you are all welcome to join us. So I do thank you. Have a great rest of your weekend, and we will talk WW topic du jour next Saturday. So have a great rest of your weekend, day, night, or whenever you watch this. Thanks for all your support. It goes a long way. Thanks, my lovelies.